Why are we doing this?
Because we're stupid.
No.
The question that will bother
That's the question of your lifetime, and something I think we need to think about. You guys, why are you doing this? Why? Why are you doing it? You know, I think sometimes we lose connection to the original reason why we wanted to do it in the first place, or the business can contaminate or disillusion us from the reason why we wanted to do it. So I think it's good to come back to, just come back to the beginning. Why and for whom? You know, I think it's interesting, if you really start to take away all the reasons why at a surface level you think you're doing it, you begin to realize all that is, it's illusory, it's not real. If you're doing it for the adulation or the applause, that's going to go away. Or actually, even while you're in it sometimes, you can get cricket, you know, it's not a reliable reason to be acting. If you're doing it for the adulation, next month there's going to be a new flavor of the month. There's always going to be somebody hotter and younger and more talented or more hot or more this or with a better this or with a better that. Can't do it for chasing those reasons. If it's for approval, this is important here. Going into auditions or doing the work for approval, self-acceptance, love, self-worth, it's never going to happen. That is never going to fulfill the thing that has to happen inner. The outer can't fulfill the inner. You can't do it for a teacher or a lover or a friend or a parent or a casting director or an agent. You have to start doing it for you. So I think it's important to come back to what are the reasons why? Why you wanted to do it. To create, to express, to have fun, to explore, to be enjoyed, to discover yourself. And you know, I wrote down, as I was writing this just before I came, I was like, wow, that is the real reason for doing it, and we don't even realize that's the real reason for doing it. There are forces at play within you, spiritually and primally. It's primal. It's encoded in us as artists. Forget about, I mean, for certainly one of the gifts for actors is to reveal back to humanity what it means to be human. So I think that's a primal urge for artists, to be storytellers, to share feeling, to evoke feeling, to emote, to give, to be. So that's the real reason why you're doing it. You know, maybe you all will come to Jesus moment if you think that you're doing it because, oh my God, all the things that you think the reason why you're doing it are going to happen when you get that TV series, or when you're doing that movie with Russell Crowe, or when you know, get cosmetic surgery and get perfect size C breasts. Is that like normal size? What's the size? What size? I don't know. I'm using that as a bad analogy, but you get what I'm saying. The point is maybe your come to Jesus moment will be, oh, all the reasons why, or all the things that I thought would make me happy in getting those things are not reasons to make me happy. Because they're not. They're not sustainable. They're not real. Now listen, that doesn't mean that they're not gratifying. That doesn't mean that's not something to go for. That doesn't mean they're not wonderful. That doesn't mean that they're not something to be celebrated, enjoyed, and shared. For sure they are. But I think it's very important not to put the real reason for creating in the external achievements of what you do or don't get. What if you came back to acting just for the pure joy of acting? I wrote, the real fulfillment is in you discovering not only who you are, but overcoming all the limitations you've placed on your humanity. Simple restrictions of yourself for being yourself. I think that's kind of deep. It's about overcoming the limitations you've placed on your humanity. Simple restrictions of yourself for being human. If you don't believe me, let me end with this amazing, amazing conversation that Kerry Washington had with Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle says that the art of acting is really you figuring out who you are in real life and synthesizing this art with your real human path. What's all that mean? And what does all that mean? And that's when it starts to mean something. And he says, I'm still looking for those deeper reasons to do it. And then Kerry Washington says, oh my God, it's everything we're doing here. When I first fell in love with acting, she says, it was about escapism, about loving the idea of being someone else in some other place and being able to forget about my real life and be something else. But the more I've worked, the more I've realized you don't get to escape your stuff. You actually have to deal with your stuff in a very concrete way if you want to be able to do your job well. And then you realize the more you're willing to confront your stuff and be vulnerable about it, the more people will identify with it, because you get to that human stuff that binds all of us, each of us together. So when people see that vulnerable, raw truth, it connects to something in them. And then they feel the experience was worthwhile. So I think that's why we do it. To dig up that stuff, to find a truth that people can relate to. So you learn more about yourself, who you want to be, who you don't want to be. And then Don Cheadle, I think, he chimed in and he was like, yeah, the icky stuff. And she said, yeah, the icky stuff. And then she said, who you are. That's it. That's the real reason to create. So what if this week, as you go out into audition land, or you're on set, what if you just finally keep coming back to, oh, maybe I've lost a bit of my sense of myself in this process. I'm doing it for this person and that person because I have to get that call back and I have to make sure I'm up on that agency's top list and I'm getting really great feedback, and if I don't do this, that person's going to drop me. What if you just gave a big colossal ucket and just came back to, I'm taking this one for me. I'm doing this for me. Not for you to like me, not for even me to get the job, just for me to express, because I'm an artist. That's powerful. I think we've lost sight of that.